Hey everyone, it's your girl Nicole Doss and welcome to another episode of Pink Radio with Prestige. This is the place where girl bosses come to get gems, tips, and all things that can impact her brand. Today we're going to talk about the 4 top tips that every girl boss should take into consideration when she is trying to stand out of the crowd with her brand. Now, think about it. This is our last month of the first quarter of the year 2021. And you may be in a place where you feel like you're doing the work, but you're not quite seeing the results that you really want to see with your brand. So what I'm going to do is invite you to take a look at these 4 different tips, see how you can actually apply them to your business, and hopefully get these amazing results that will help you start turning and transferring likes into actual dollar signs. Before we get started, I do also want to invite you guys, if you have not already joined our Facebook, please join our Facebook group. It is called Pink Radio with Prestige. This is where I give actually daily tips, where I used to, and I have to really get back on this, doing a Wednesday luncheon chats, where we talk about the topic even more via live. So it gives you an opportunity to jump on in with me and we can talk a little bit more about things. If you have questions about things, you can ask me those things at that time. But this is really a place to really help connect our listeners. This past week, I asked people to share their brands, and it was so awesome to see people not just share their businesses, but also see opportunities to connect with others. So, and connect and collaborate with others. So I really, really enjoyed that. So if you are not part of our Facebook group, please join our Facebook group and get into the conversations there. So without further ado, let's just jump right into our episode. So the 4 tips that every girl boss should do in order to stand out of the crowd with her brand. So let's jump right into the first one that gives most of my introvert bosses lots of agita. So that is doing more videos or lives. So I will say this. People, meaning your tribe, your client base, your audience, they are naturally voyeurs. So they want to know what it is that you're working on, what it is that you're doing, how are you coming up with this new thing, how do you work through your daily thing, how do you feel about certain things. They really want to see it. I like to call them lurkers. I know that's not a great name, but I like to call them lurkers because that's what they do. They may look at the information in your story. They may double tap and like something that's going on. But while that's happening, these lurkers are actually building a connection with you. Simon Sinek had a really great TED Talk where I think it's called Start with the Why, but it's an older TED Talk. Simon Sinek is an amazing TED Talk speaker, thought leader around leadership and building brand stories. And I will say that he gave really great advice when he shared that people do not buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And he broke down this story of TiVo versus like Life Now with cable TV. And he said that when TiVo first started, people really could not understand the concept. And they couldn't understand the concept because naturally your audience is not going to be what we like to call early adopters. So there's only a really small group of people that love to be the early adopters, especially in this case, we're going to talk technology. So as I'm talking about it from a technology realm, I want you to think about people who jump on to something that you push to market with your product, your service, or your content, okay? So in this case, he was saying that people are not normally early adopters with technology. So what happens is that you have a really small percentage of people who are like, oh, this is new, I'm going to try it, I'm going to buy it. So they do. But then if a company does not do a great job in really building a connection with their audience, really helping to explain the why you do it or why you need it or why this exists, then what ends up happening is that it levels off and kinds of fall off. And then people are left with trying to understand what this thing is. So people could not understand at that time, why would I need to have access to information on demand. And it's so funny because I actually remember it was probably around like 2000, I want to say 6. I remember like a friend of mine and her husband had TiVo. And I remember that I didn't really understand why it was necessary, because that was really of a time and of a culture where you knew what night your shows came on. And you would go home and you would watch your shows at that time. And that was just life. I mean, I don't know about you, but growing up as a kid, I knew that the Cosby Show came on Thursdays at 8. I knew after that I was going to watch Family Ties because I loved watching how Alex Keaton was with his family, and I loved Mallory. I thought she was super cool. So like that was that. I knew that TGIF on ABC. I watched it all from Family Matters to Golden Girls to Empty Nest. I think at the time it was like The 10 of Us had come on. So these are all things that I knew that came on at this date, at this time. And not in 2006. Clearly this was in the 80s. But that's what we grew up with, so that became our common practice. And because TiVo really didn't do a good job at explaining to you the why behind the product, but only explaining what it is that they do, people really couldn't understand it because it was too new. So you had a really small group of early adopters, and then eventually TiVo was not that successful. But then, of course, if we fast forward to today, we can't imagine life without some kind of on-demand capability. I could care less when a show comes on. I only care that when I want to watch it, I have access to it. So how far we have come from early adopters not, being these pioneers of accepting this technology to now this just being the way of the world. And now it's not TiVo that's leading the charge. It's Amazon Fire Stick that's leading the charge. It's the cable companies that have access to on-demand content. So definitely, I thought when Simon Sinek brought that up, I thought that was really great. And he also, on the other side, showed an example of how Apple did a really great job in the 1980s in introducing, I think, their first like Macintosh computer into like the why they're doing what they're doing. So it was about breaking the mold, breaking from status quo, breaking from like the tight suits of IBM, and it being so brilliantly displayed in their 1980 Super Bowl commercial. And so that tapped to the heartstrings of people. They were like, oh my goodness. And so it became this thing that Apple became these masters of why something is so important, why something is needed, why you need to be a part of this tribe that has this technology. And so it's always something that's not so in your face of this is why you need it, but it's really thought out well. From my perception, I would say like this just marketing genius of embedding the why into a story or embedding a why into a scenario. Even till this day, if you go to YouTube and look at Apple at home or remote work, like little mini movies that they do, which it tells an entire story of working from home using all Apple products. And it's so relatable, and it just makes you say, for me, a user of Apple products, saying like, wow, I'm so happy I already have this technology so that I can do these things. I'm sure for those who don't have it may say like, wow, I'm really interested in using X, Y, and Z to make my life so much easier dealing with these things that I had to deal with during the pandemic. So even to this day, they're doing really great marketing and geniusly embedding their why into their marketing. So definitely, although we're not having this very up close and personal relationship with the CEO of Apple, it's definitely giving us this why in a very different and creative way. So I will definitely say that is something that's done through videos, something that people get to see. And although we can't see the life of the CEO, we are seeing the lives of those that are being impacted by the technology, even if it is through fiction, storytelling, through a use of commercial. as a small business owner, you may not have the budget to be able to create something like that on an ongoing basis. So if that's the case, then you have to use the next best thing, which is yourself. And using the medium of video, using the medium to really connect with the audience, building relevancy, relatability, all of those things to make someone say, wow, this is why the company is for me. This is why the company is aligned with what it is that I'm doing, or aligned with the things that I like or believe in, with my core values and the mission that I have for myself as a person. Or maybe if it's a B2B model, which is a business-to-business model, it's the business is aligned with my business, and this is why I want to partner with that particular organization. So really start thinking about how you are connecting the dots through that use of video. Some small business owners that I would love to shout out to, that I think do a really great job with this, would be Nicole Green of Senior Healthcare Advocates, and I will also say Elaine Johnson of Mogul Mommy. So let's first talk about Nicole Green. So Nicole Green is a co-owner of My Senior Healthcare Health Advocates, and her and her husband are partners in this insurance company, if you will. And so although they're insurance brokers, and they deal mainly or mostly, and instead I'm going to say monly because I just made up a whole word. Okay. They deal, I was going to say it again. Coffee has not set in. So please give me 2 seconds to take a sip. Okay. That's better. So mainly Nicole Green and her husband deal with Medicare services for those who are of a certain age, but they also have ventured into the realm of life insurance as well. I am a client of hers, so love and trust that company. But I will say that Nicole's gotten very, very creative. And this is an introvert, guys. So if you find that doing videos and creating content that kind of shows you feels uncomfortable to you, or is something that you don't really think that you'll get to a space where you feel comfortable, please look at Nicole's content. I gotta tell you, Nicole does this so effortlessly that she was over the other day and we were talking about something. We were talking about introverts, and we were talking about social media, and she was just like, I'm an introvert. And I'm like, girl, who can tell that? So I think it's awesome that fabulous introvert boss has been able to break out of her shell. So if you find that you put yourself in that category, please take a look at her content so you can see exactly how you can be creative and still connect with people, even when it's not, even when it's something that you feel that is just like not something that you may feel comfortable doing. Elaine Johnson, that's going to be the boss that my extrovert bosses would definitely want to take a look at her content. She's doing lots of talking, lots of connecting, lots of transparent content for her tribe. She's telling you the good, bad, and the, ugly. She's going to tell you anything and everything that's going on, because her goal is, with her brand, is really to, one, show women how she focuses on building a relationship with God. So I will say this wonderful woman of God really does a great job at showing that everyone's not perfect, but can still be amazing in their own right. And I mean, Elaine is just one of those brands that I truly, truly appreciate, because she's sincere and she's genuine. And for people who appreciate genuine people, you love her transparent moments, because you'll watch them and say, oh, child, that is so me. So if you have not had the opportunity to follow Elaine, please follow Elaine at Elaine G. Johnson. She is the creator of Mogul Mommy. She's also the founder of Latinas in Motion, as well as Nicole Green, who is the founder of Motivating Young Moms, as well as the co-owner of Senior Healthcare Advocates. So those are going to be your examples of how you make connection through the use of video as a medium. All right. But the next thing I want you to think about that's going to be also an external lens is public relations. Oh, do not confuse public relations with marketing, but appreciate that a good old press release, a good old pickup feature in a magazine, a good old story or article written about you online is something that positions you as a subject matter expert in your field. And it positions you as the plug, meaning the absolute source that can give people the information they need in the area in which you reign. Okay, so let me give you some examples. If you are a chef and you are currently, let's say you're I do not know, a pastry chef, and you currently have cupcakes that are to die for, and you would love to increase your sales, and you want people to know that you exist because your marketing efforts have been great, but in telling your brand story, but you just feel like you haven't really been able to reach the masses. Focusing on getting your story in local papers or on local news shows really will help, because now people are going to say, "Ooh, you exist. Oh my goodness, I needed a new pastry chef. I have a sweet 16 party I need to throw for my daughter, and using this baker would really help me in making, having a standout cake for my sweet princess's sweet 16. Or I'm getting married and I need a cake and I would love to support a small business owner. And let's say the person's a woman of color. I definitely would love to go with her. So, when you have that exposure, that is something that really helps position you. I loved learning this in the DIY PR program that was that's still going on, and that's taught by Nikia McLean. Nikia McLean used to be my publicist, and honestly, the times that I was featured in anything, all was because Nikia was the one that got me in. She was the one that really helped me, have a seat at the table and would speak my name in rooms that I was not in and that I didn't even think I had access to. So I have always respected and loved Nikia's entire work ethic, her due diligence when it comes to client excellence, and the fact that she's teaching actual business owners how to do this for themselves is amazing. I took her course, did my first press release, couldn't believe it. Got my draft for my pitch, so I'll be pitching a few stories soon. I'm super excited about that. But when I did my press release through her class, and through taking the class, it really helped me understand how, one, public relations isn't marketing, but it helps you make a connection with your public audience who did not know you existed before. And when I did my first press release, the amount of people that came to my site was amazing. But it let me know that that's not the end cycle. Like, you have to still have in place all of the other things that help your business once you do something like a press release, which means you should have a sales funnel. So all those people that are coming to your page, you're able to capture those who are coming to your page through email. You should be able to be sending them things through email, because remember, through email marketing, you should be making $1 per email address per month. So if you have 1,000 people who are on your email list, you should have $1,000 per month that you're making through your email marketing efforts. But if you're just putting press releases out there or getting picked up in stories, and you don't have those other pieces of your business well thought out, or you don't have those other pieces of your brand in place, then all you just have are people who see your brand, like your brand, and visiting your website, and then a loss in conversion. Because those people aren't getting up in the morning and merely exist just so that you can have a customer. That's not what happens with people. And we'll talk a little bit about that kind of entitled mindset in a little bit. But what it is that person is getting up and they are dealing with their life. They are getting kids ready for homeschooling. They are trying to make breakfast. They're trying to log on to their computers. They're trying to do work. They're attending all of these different classes, and they're doing all these different meetings, and they're trying to keep up with the work that they have to do with their meetings, and they're trying to remind themselves to log off at 5 p.m. instead of remaining logged on until the break of dawn or until 6 or 7 o'clock at night, or sometimes even later. And in between all of that fuss and buzz, in between all of those things that are going on in the course of their day, just by chance, they may have typed in your website into Google Chrome, or in my case, Safari. And it just may be that they land on something that they really like on your page. And it might be that they've even put something in their cart. But their phone rings, a fire ensues. They have to, if you know anything about 9-to-5s that are crazy. When I say a fire ensues, it does not mean an actual fire with flames is actually taking place in their home, meaning some emergency at the job is calling their attention and most likely is going to take them off course for the rest of the day. Which means that if you don't have some kind of marketing tools in place to capture the closing the loop of the sale, you just lost that person. If you don't have something that sends automatic emails to people who have abandoned carts, if you don't even know what the term abandoned cart means, then that means that you have lost the opportunity to capture that person. And that onus is not on the person who is trying to make the purchase but got pulled away. The onus is not on the efforts in public relations. The onus is on you. So when I talk about looking at public relations as a tool, you have to appreciate and understand what it does for you, but what you're supposed to do in order for you to convert that person who now likes the brand, is interested in the brand, into now becoming an actual customer. So I hope that makes sense, because I don't want you to think that public relations is this magic tool or magic pill or cure-all in a failing business or a stagnant business. I don't want you to think that because you have a publicist, all of a sudden you're going to be amazing. There's other parts of your business that have to be in place that ensures that. So definitely, if you are looking into what can you do, okay, shameless plug. If you don't have the foundation of your business set up and you need that, then you really need to join the Prestige Society so we can get you in place. We do not have open membership until June. So hopefully, if you're ready by then you can go ahead and join membership then. But if you are interested in understanding public relations, I would definitely encourage you to look at Nakia McLean's DIPR site. That's something that's really important. So, and she has free webinars every Wednesday, so definitely take a look at that. I'll put the links to her page as well, just so that you can kind of look through it and see if it's something you're interested in. But that's definitely, those are two external things that I want you guys to think about of what you're going to do externally to really push the brand out to market to ensure that you're standing out of the crowd. So once again, making sure you're connecting through the medium of video with your tribe, as well as looking at opportunities to really leverage press to get people to know that you are here and that you are the answer, that you are the source, that you are the plug. So that is really important. But now we're going to take a moment to look internally at who you are as a business owner and how you operate as a business. So with those two are the two focus points that I would love to talk about, which will close us out of our 4 tips, will be 1, ensuring that your products, services, or content is of value. And this is so important. I feel that companies that are customer obsessed are the companies that fare well in building customer loyalty and killing it when it comes to repeat customers and repeat businesses. Oh, why do I say that? I say that because I know that a lot of you, okay, let me go back. I am a huge proponent of individuals who need to push membership subscriptions for their business. I believe that pushing membership subscription for your business does a few things. It allows you to do forecasting of what your sales will be, the money that you'll make will be for months in advance, weeks in advance, depending on what your subscription model is. And I also feel that it will help you with sustainable and repeatable business. So that not only are you able to say that in the next 8 weeks, I will be making X amount of money, but you're also able to say, in these 8 weeks, when I'm making this money, I am able to then move into a space where I know it's every month for these, for the next whatever amount of months. So next 6 months, I know it's every month. For the next year, I know at least that I'm going to make this every month. And that's really important when you talk about looking at your business's financial vitality, and really understanding things like, how am I going to move from me funding this business to this business running on its own? And that's really important. Even for me, there's nothing that I pay for my business out of my personal checking. Everything comes out of my business account. And that's because I need to know that my business is paying for my business. And I need, that to be something that is separate so that I can see it and I can run reports and then I'm aware. So I love what, for me, what memberships can do. But I also know that everybody can't build up that model. Or some people are scared because that's going to require you to do a lot more work. So you'd rather just do things that are transactional. Although I believe that transactional models are antiquated, I do know that it's easier for people to just push that out as a model when they get started. So here's the thing. When you are pushing something out that's transactional, you are responsible for a few things. One, you're responsible for making sure that you're recruiting or attracting new clients on an ongoing basis. You are responsible for ensuring that you have some kind of upsell available for that individual. You also need to ensure that if you can't upsell, that you keep them in the sales loop so that they come back. And then also you need to make sure that there is something in place that will allow the customers to be able to recruit for you new customers by using some kind of referral program, whether it's in kind, meaning that both individuals, the person who's doing the referral and the person who's been referred to you, both receive some kind of benefit for either bringing someone to the business or this person now considering your business. And so in that takes a lot of work. And there's a lot of internal work you have to do with your business. That means that your product has to be of value. I told you before, customers are not made for just you. Customers do not wake up every day and say, oh my goodness, I'm supposed to buy from this brand today. And my entire life is all around me buying X, Y, and Z from this brand. Like that's not the case. That's not how this thing works. It's just not. So that means that you have to do your due diligence to ensure that you are creating excellent products. Because now let's kind of go through what that looks like. So if you have something that's an excellent product, the first thing this person's going to do if they're wowed by it is they're going to post it. They're going to post it because they so love it. They're going to be like, oh my goodness. So they're going to post it. And whenever someone says that they want it or they need it, then they're going to say, oh my goodness, you should use this product. I use it. I love it. And then let's even talk about if you do use public relations and you have that social proof that you are amazing and creating amazing things, then you have the people who are now coming to you, looking at your social media, or if you have testimonials on your website, and people are going to your website, they can see, wow, people really love this product. And when they try it for themselves, then what ends up happening is they so love what it is they're trying that they're going to now become repeat customers. You want your stuff to be so darn good that they can't imagine using anything else. I'll give you some examples. So, products that I refuse to use another brand for because I think they're just bar none. Skin and Body Clinic, owned by an esthetician by the name of Tiffany Ford or Tiffany Torrance. I've known Tiffany since high school, and her makeup name, or the name that she goes by, is Torrance Ford, and she is amazing. So she's an esthetician, she's a makeup artist, and I think now she's going back to school for nursing so that she can help with areola tattoos for those who are breast cancer survivors who had to get their breast removed from, and why can't I think of the word? And I don't want to say it. I'm afraid I'm going to say it wrong. But a mastectomy? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all, if I chop that word up. But she, will then be able to provide that service to those women. She also does things like microblading and waxing, lashes, you name it, homegirl does it. But the one thing about this, I think she did like financial auditing, or forensic financial auditing to ensure that like big international accounts weren't being used for things like human trafficking or drug trafficking. So this woman who once did that, who moved into this space of having her own place where she does all this great work now, she now has also a line of makeup and has a skincare line. And so one of the things I fell in love with a bigger name was their pre-oil pads. So loved the pre-oil pads, thought the pads were amazing, always helped me remove things from my skin in a way that also left my skin feeling like a baby's behind. And once Tiffany told me she had that product, I told her I would definitely try it at a jump of tell me, I will try it. I tried it, fell in love with it. And now that I've run out, I keep saying oh my gosh, I have to buy this from her. I don't want to go back to that brand. But that's not the only item that I have from her that I am loyal to. The other one is her lip gloss, and because she also has a line of makeup. So actually, when I tell you she's a line of full makeup, the thing is that I just am trying to save money, and she used to always take all my good money. So right now, the one thing that I know that I go in and I get and I don't get from nowhere else is her lip gloss. So it's not your everyday like glossy lip gloss where it's like shining and everybody wants to be a lip gloss person. This is actually on the same caliber as MAC, as the same caliber as Bobbi Brown Cosmetics. Her lip gloss, MAC Red, Betty Boop lipstick, and her, what do I have? I think it's called, I'm going to say like nude. I'm about to pull my purse, but I don't want to make a whole bunch of noise as I'm like going into my purse to go see all of the different colors that I have from this fabulous woman, because I keep them in my bag, but I'm trying not to make a whole bunch of noise. As I'm in here, can you guys hear me like digging in my bag? And because I just switched purses, of course now I can't find all the different ones. But I love getting my lip glosses from her. So I have about 3 or 4 different lip glosses from her now. But I refuse to go anywhere else. I have not shopped in MAC, I want to say, in maybe 3 or 4 years. Because I refuse to go to MAC. I will only buy my cosmetics from Skin and Body Clinic if when I'm ready to buy like my good makeup. See, pandemic has me just buying some foundation from NYX. I ain't gonna hate on NYX. I'm just saying, ain't nobody Skin and Body Clinic. So, but I do have like a pressed powder from her that I absolutely love. I love her obsession with skin, looking like skin. And I'm like, ugh. So when you find that brand, and I know the level of like this, just she goes through a whole customer client experience. We're gonna talk about that next. But she puts so much into her products that it's something that I refuse to go anywhere else. It's now customer loyalty. And that's something that you really, really want to be able to have people just do and experience and really have people say like, wow, this is it. But if you believe that people are brought into this earth just to buy your products and they have to buy your products and you feel entitled, you are not going to have repeat customers because you're not putting your tribe first. We're going to talk about that when we talk about customer experience, but that's something I really want you guys to think about. So I love the amount of care and excellence and quality that Tiffany puts into her products. And because of that, I'm a repeat customer. And it's so funny because it's not just me. My mom is a repeat customer. Nicole Green, who I mentioned earlier, drives from like Atco, Pennsylvania, which is like close to like King of Prussia, to just come to Willingboro, New Jersey on Sunset Road to get services done by Tiffany. It's amazing when people will drive that far. Oh, another one. I get my hair done from Omnitress's salon. The owner of that salon is Sierra Desper. I literally stopped going to the hairdresser I used to go to, where her prices were less and the drive was shorter distance, all because Sierra has completely, as we transition into our fourth topic, has mastered the customer experience. So when I first started going to Sierra, and that's the last point, making sure you put time and care not only into your products and your services, but you also make sure that you cultivate a customer's experience. So one of the things that Sierra has done is she really cultivates the customer experience. I am never in the salon for long. I never have to wait for her. All of her appointments are streamlined through technology. So because all of her appointments go through her software, her appointment booking software, and you put what you're getting done, each appointment then is timed perfectly. So there's never for me a wait. I'm never sitting there wondering when is she going to get to me next. I go in, she does my hair, I go out. And it's all because she has really cultivated streamlining her processes. But then also too, when you're there, do you want coffee? Do you want water? Do you want wine? When you're there, it's a warm reception. I remember the first couple times I went there, I had a really bad headache. And I had said to her, my goodness, I'm really struggling. I have a horrible headache. And one of the other stylists was going to wash my hair. And as she's washing my hair, she gave me a head massage. And I was just like, oh my goodness, you have no idea, Claudia. This is exactly what I needed. And Claudia was like, oh, I heard you say that you had a migraine. And so I figured this will help. Do you know how awesome that made me feel as a client? So guess what happens? I don't mind driving further distance. I don't mind paying more money because I know that the level of care that I get when I'm there is bar none. That person, Sierra Desper, has cultivated the client experience. These are the things you want to think about when you are rolling out the red carpet to tell your clients, come on in and buy from me. What are you doing to cultivate the client's experience? Another person I'll bring up is the Hustle Mom. I purchased shirts from the Hustle Mom, and she's a perfect example of how you cultivate a client's experience when things go wrong. So I ordered, I think, a sweatshirt from her, the yellow Hustle Mom University sweatshirt, and something went terribly wrong. I don't know. I ain't getting my shirt. So she realized I didn't get my shirt. She reached out to me and asked me, if I've received it yet, because that was during the time when the post office was like really, really, really backed up. I think it was like during the Christmas season. And so I told her, no, I didn't receive it yet. So she said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take it, deliver it myself. I'm going to go and also add some things to your package. So, so sorry for the convenience. She offered to give me my money back and still send me the items. I told her absolutely not. You will not do that. But she still, gave me the shirt and added 2 other shirts. And I was so, thankful for that attention to detail and saying I want to give you these things for your inconvenience. And so handling the issue, taking full accountability for the issue, and then moving forward was really, for me, something that was important and necessary, because that made me realize that if anything goes wrong, you'll take care of it. And that's what you want. You want the people who will take care of a situation when something goes wrong. And actually, what we used to teach in customer service training was that that's how you actually get more loyal customers, because those individuals want to build, they trust you more because they know, great, when everything's great, that's fine because it's going according to plan. But when something is not going according to plan and someone's really taking care of you, it's like you tend to say, I want to work with this person because I know I'll always be taken care of. But when I received my products, how everything was packaged was absolutely amazing. She had beautiful Hustle Mom mailer boxes. She had beautiful tissue paper and everything. Just the packaging of it was just amazing. And so I was so thankful to that attention to detail, because it felt like it was Christmas for me, for this Hustle Mom. So that cultivating the customer experience, even through getting something in an e-commerce platform, it is something that you can do. And so I want you guys to start thinking about how you can really begin to cultivate and spend more time building your brand and standing out from the rest by focusing on those 2 internal and those 2 external lenses. So for you, don't forget, it's doing more connecting with your tribe, whether it's through videos or lives or what have you, thinking about using public relations as a tool, ensuring that your products, services, and services are of value, making sure that there's just no room for entitlement, right? No one was born in this world to be your customer just because you think so. You earn that right. You earn your customers. You do the work. You bring them in, okay? And then last but not least, when you bring them in, make sure they have a great client experience. All right, guys, with that, I am going to go. Have a wonderful day and just be blessed. All right, guys, bye.